Thank you for joining us for our third News for You episode. My name is Taniza Islam, and this episode will be translated into Spanish. All News for You episodes can be found on the South Dakota Voices for Peace and the Hub South Dakota YouTube channels and the South Dakota Dream Coalition social media pages. During this episode, we will discuss what steps you can take to prepare your family in case you are detained or deported. This is a very difficult topic, but we hope that by taking steps to prepare, you will be less worried about what will happen to your family if you are detained or deported. This information is being presented by the South Dakota Dream Coalition, which has South Dakota immigration lawyers and community leaders from the South Dakota's Hispanic, Asian, and African communities. We are the trusted source of information for immigration updates you can rely on. Just a quick overview. It is important to understand that there are 3 levels of government and laws. Federal covers the entire country, state covers just the state, and laws can be different in different states. And then municipal, which is the city level. Each level has their own law enforcement arm or officers that arrest people if they believe a law has been violated. Immigration law is federal. It pertains to the entire country, and immigration enforcement can only be done by federal law enforcement such as ICE. State and city laws are enforced by the state and city officers. Immigration law enforcement is done by federal officers. As we understand it today, the priorities for deportation include criminals focusing on high-level crimes. Unfortunately, though, yesterday, on January 29, 2025, the Laken-Riley Act was signed into law by President Trump. One of the things this law does is it allows ICE to detain people for less serious crimes. The bill requires the Department of Homeland Security to detain migrants if they are charged with certain criminal offenses, including theft, shoplifting, burglary, assault against the law enforcement, or any crimes that result in death or serious bodily injury of another person. Therefore, if you have been charged with one of these crimes, ICE can now detain you. Conviction is not necessary. Another immigration policy that went into effect on January 21st, 2025 is called Expedited Removal. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security has published a notice expanding the ability of Immigration and Customs Enforcement to remove individuals deemed unlawfully present in the United States who are unable to prove U.S. residency for at least 2 years. Undocumented community members are now at greater risk of being put into deportation proceedings without the right to appear in front of an immigration judge or fight their case. These changes were effective as of January 21st, 2025. Individuals should exercise their existing rights and follow steps to protect themselves and their families. What is expedited removal? When ICE or CBP arrests a person within the United States as opposed to the border, the person usually has a chance to see an immigration judge before they are deported. Expedited removal allows the government to quickly deport someone they believe to be undocumented without ever seeing a judge. The only exception is if the person says they are afraid to return to their country and passes a fear screening interview, which might allow them to seek asylum. What changed? Previously, ICE and CBP only used expedited removal against people within 100 miles of the border and within 14 days of their arrival. Now the government has said it plans to use expedited removal anywhere in the country against any undocumented person who cannot prove they have been in the United States continuously for 2 years before this arrest. DHS has announced it intends to use this power even against people who entered through a parole program. What can community members do to prepare? Remember your rights to remain silent, not open your door, and not answer questions from ICE or CBP without an attorney. Do not carry foreign identification documents such as a foreign passport with you, as these documents may be used against you. Carry with you evidence of having been in the United States for longer than 2 years, such as mail that you received at your home address with a postmark, a signed lease, church or school records with your address, etc. You may want to carry copies with you so that you are not risking losing your originals. Share this evidence if or after you have been taken into custody. Carry with you evidence of lawful entry or current lawful status in the United States if you have it. If you have a pending asylum application or other immigration case or appeal, carry evidence of that with you. Share this evidence if or after you have been taken into custody. The first step is to remain silent, with the exception of asking to speak to a lawyer. If you are being taken into immigration custody and you have a fear of returning to your country of origin, state that fear loudly and clearly at every opportunity you have. Ask to speak to a lawyer and do not sign any documents without consulting with a lawyer first. There are more things you can do today to make sure your family is taken care of in case you are detained or deported. It is very important to know that you do not need a lawyer to help you with the following things. You do not have to pay anyone to fill this form out for you. We will give you instructions on how to do this. To get things started, identify a trusted adult who can care for your child if you cannot. Talk to this person as soon as possible about taking care of your child or children in the case you are detained or deported. If there is an agreement between you, parents, and the trusted adult, please fill out a power of attorney, a POA document for the care of a minor child. This document can be filled out by you, and you do not need an attorney, but you do need a stamp of a notary, which is not the same thing as a notario. The South Dakota Dream Coalition has voluntary notaries who will be available to stamp your document at no cost for you. Please visit the South Dakota Dream Coalition Facebook and Instagram pages for when you can get your POA stamp for free. If you are a customer at a local bank, they should also offer to provide the notary stamp on your document for free. Complete a child care plan that includes emergency phone numbers and other important information about your child. Put it in your file of important documents. If you have financial assets, if you own a vehicle or your home, you have money in a bank account, for example, you can fill out a separate power of attorney, a POA form for specific financial interests. Again, identify a trusted adult who can take the responsibility and someone who has agreed to take the responsibility if you are detained or deported. We also encourage you to keep a file of important documents with a copy in a safe place. We advise that you keep your paper copies and you take pictures of these documents and email them to yourself in case your paper copies are lost, and so that you can access documents from anywhere you can access email. Let your power of attorney and your children know where these documents are stored. We suggest the following documents for your file, and we will have templates for you to print on the South Dakota Dream Coalition social media pages and the South Dakota Voices for Peace website. Important children's information: what school they attend, what are their friends' name, what do they like to eat, who your relatives are, and their contact information. Your children's medical information, including health insurance, medication list, and doctor's contact information. Passports, birth certificates, marriage license, any restraining orders you may have against anyone, your A number, if you have a copy of your work permit, green card, social security or ITIN number, and other identification like biographical page of your passport, and any document you need someone to find quickly. Now that all of your documents are in order, you will need to talk to your children and other family members about this plan. As a parent, we always want to protect our children, and your child may not know your immigration status or what immigration law even is. We suggest you say something like the following: "My job as your mom or dad is to keep you safe. There could be a situation where I might not be able to keep you safe because I am not here. For example, I could be at the hospital, or I could go back to your home country, Guatemala or Mexico, and someone else will need to take care of you. I talked to name the power of attorney, and he or she has agreed if anything were to happen to me and I could not take care of you, they would come and take care of you. I don't want you to get too scared. I just want you to be prepared. Like at school when you have a fire drill. You do not want a fire at your school, but we have to prepare just in case it does happen. So the same thing here. I always want to be here with you, but if I can't be here with you, now you know who you can call, the POA in your document. So let us memorize the POA's name and phone number, and I will keep it here on the refrigerator too. And here is where I have some important documents you and the POA might need. These are really difficult conversations. Thank you for watching episode 3 of News for You. All episodes can be found on the South Dakota Voices for Peace and the Hub South Dakota YouTube channel, and South Dakota Dream Coalition's Facebook and Instagram and TikTok pages. Please follow links to the pages because we will have up-to-date information and POA templates that you can print and get a notary stamp on. We will also post on our social media pages when and where free notary stamps are available. Remember, you do not have to pay anyone to help you prepare these documents. You have a right to remain silent, you have a right to ask for a lawyer, and you have a right for a valid search warrant. Please also follow these pages because we will have up-to-date information and the POA template you can print and get a notary stamp on. We will also post on our social media pages when and where free notary stamps are available. Remember, you do not have to pay anyone to help you prepare these documents.